Drewski.
It's already been
Thank
a
you,
great
man.
morning, so let's continue.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. We are continuing.
All right.
These guys are crazy around here. We did have a no-show, so let's go on. I don't want to bore you this morning, but I get to catch up, and I left a big stack at my house, so I might run out of things to talk about. You think that's possible? No, I would like to think that's possible, but I could rattle on about this all day long. But it's always good knowledge, I think. I always like to pick people's brains when it comes to their successes, and I always appreciate the best in their field, whatever they're at. I always appreciate those that strive to be the best they can be in what they are. You know, this one comment somebody made, it was Steve right here, yeah, about being raised farm boy. You know, at the time you don't think about how good it is because there's a lot of hard work in farming. I mean, just throwing up hay is a lot of work. And we decided to plant Christmas trees, which was a ton of work. I hated that. But there is just a ton of work. But it does, when you look out and you see city slickers, it does make a difference in how you perceive things. To touch the earth, you know, that was a good book written by, I can't remember who it was written by, but it was about Native American mystic. Most of your Native American chiefs were mystic Indians, and they still are today. The Hopi chief is quite a mystic. And so we have a lot of very aware, very spiritual Native Americans, and especially the elders and the chiefs and things. And To Touch the Earth was a great book. I really loved that. I remember this one saying by the Dreamer tribe, and I never even heard of the Dreamer tribe. And this tribe, the chief was saying that to this white person, saying that you ask my men to work. Men who work cannot dream, and wisdom comes in dreams. So it was, I mean, there's a lot of great little things in that book. But yeah, anything in the land is pretty cool. At the same time, I think I told you I did a radio show for probably a year and a half with a Native American. And we were talking to all the Native Americans as much as we could around the country, and it was a lot of fun. I totally, you know, from one perspective, the Earth is just a rock spinning through space. But you have a body here, and you've got to love all that's involved, even though that it's truly just a dream. And you are the dreamer, so it's all about you anyway. Now, I'm going to go on here, and this way I'm pretty sure I can get caught up. I might have to run home and get the rest of them. I looked for them this morning when I left, but, you know, I must have overlooked them in my piles sitting there on my couch. Hard to catch up with everything that we try to do, so I just let it flow here. This one lady, I might have missed your question, dear one, and I am so sorry. California, or something like that. Forgive me, you know, but sorry I missed this. You're talking about autism here, and do you think that AS should be cured? I don't think I've ever had a case where I couldn't pull them off the ceiling. Everything. And let's take it out of the realm of diseases, and let's take it in the realm of neurological weakness, exacerbated by neurotoxins. Definitely. We're going right back. You know, when you work in the body and you work in the adrenals, you're working in the autonomic, but you can also get up here with upper circ and brain and nerve, and you can affect some tremendous regeneration in the central nervous system. And this is all about simply cells and two major fluids. And I don't care if we're talking about nervous systems, we're talking about livers, we're talking about hearts or pancreases. It's just that when you get to the nervous system, that is the carte blanche of them all. That is the electrical part of the body. It does not deal well with cooked foods. It deals no well at all with meats or dairy products. The only true nerve regenerating foods are the fruits, the berries, and the melons. I've had a lot of experience with neurological cases. And I think I've mentioned a couple where I've taken a C3, C4 quad, totally regenerated her after 12 years down. And I have a video on it. I'll try to put that video up. She's passed. Another quad on there, detective, he's passed. I do tell you why they passed on this. Sad stories. But the success that they accomplished was unbelievable and just fantastic, and you ought to hear their stories. We went to her house cold, but with some physical therapy, she could shake her hand, lift her legs. She was totally reconnected to when I first met her. She was just locked in a wheelchair and couldn't move it with her tongue. Great work that she did on herself. But she had killed another guy, head-on car crash. There was concerns that her boyfriend had actually taken her from the passenger seat, put her in the driver's seat. The family of the boy was that died was relentlessly after her, and I think she didn't want to be on the planet at all. She was, but what she accomplished, and I'd like to put some of these videos up for you. I just have to get Chris and see how we translate them from video to this. That video is available, though. We do sell it as I think $10 what we asked for it or something, but it's our spinal work or neurological cases, and you might like that. It's only $10. Cost the cost of having it reproduced and stuff. I think we have that on DVD now, but I'll try to get that up on there. And just to show you some great interviews. He was interviewed by Fox News. Just good stories, And then we shot a video with me and him talking to you. So there's just a lot of good stories out there. Through the years, our successes in regaining the health of the body and regenerating, and even bringing in tissue that wasn't there at birth, like the spinal bifida case. Incredible cases to show you what the potential we have. I'm just a lone practitioner, but working together. The Allopaths, the naturopaths, all of us throw down these misconceived ideas that we have about diseases and things and start working together in these higher regenerative levels. What we can accomplish, because there's a lot of smart people in allopathic work. There's a lot of great brains that need to rechange their focus. And when that happens, it's be pretty cool. And you guys, your testimonies are incredible. And yes, some of you are working hard. You go in and out. Some of you are getting your butt kicked a little bit. But it's just great work, and it makes us bond together because this is a powerful thing. So autism's the same way. We had a lot of cases of autism, and we get a lot of cases where the parents tell us, and the children, where they noticed it only after vaccination. But the problem is, it wasn't the vaccination. That was just a neurotoxic plug. That definitely exacerbated the underlying problem, which is the weakness of the autonomic and maybe even in the central. And this is what we're facing in the younger people. And so the point, and I've commented a lot about this, that the younger people cannot handle surgeries well because of the neurotoxicities surgeries prevent. Look at this. I think he's a cardiologist, or he's on this. Dr. Murray being prosecuted for Michael Jackson's death, and he's talking about the use of propofol, and he actually, I don't know if he created it, he's the chemist, or he's involved, but he said something very interesting about monitoring. And of course, Murray didn't monitor Michael Jackson. You always monitor your patient when you're under propofol. That would be insanity not to do that. That's why there's definitely a huge neglect there. When you're dealing in these high neurotoxicities, you've got to monitor these people. And when you're in surgery, they're monitoring your blood pressures and everything, all respirations all the time, because they know the toxic effects of this. And this is what happens to children going under the knife. They don't realize, though, the depth of this neurotoxicity can suppress the function of the endocrine glands. It can suppress the function of the cells of the body for years. And I've commented on a few cases that came out of surgery. One lady with type 1 diabetes, and with her menses stopped. And then we got it back as we regenerated and got the neurotoxicity out and built up the nervous system again. Then her beta cells came on again. Everybody came on again. Her brain turned on again. So that's what you have to do. You have to go after that detoxification. You really have to move. Detoxification, think of detoxification as the process to regenerate tissue and to regenetic or remember genetically your cells, because it's easy to understand, and this is why I brought the universe out or creation out like I have, because if you understand that there is the mind worlds, there is the emotional worlds, and there is the physical world, and that these are different components to the allness of creation itself, then one understands how life is at the cellular level and how there is regeneration, how there is memory patterns, but memory patterns are always in real time. So you even though you're going back into the causal worlds with memory patterns, even at the cellular level, you instigate new memories, just like a damage in the moment, just how a cell gets genetically weak in the first place. That same philosophy reversed is how you strengthen a cell genetically. And it's that simple. So that's what you have to do, and especially with autism and all the neurological cases, all the way into Lou Gehrig's MS, Parkinson's, all the way, Bell's, cerebral palsies, all the way. Does not matter. Regeneration is the key. I've told you of cases where it was a parasitic problem. Totally recouped from extreme MS-like symptoms to total driving and within 2 months because it was parasitic. So yes, parasites are a factor here, but they're secondary. But in this case, they're very causative. But these were worms. You know, these were the bigger boys, not the microbes. There's a big difference in the journey of and all these different levels of creation and what they're here for, from the parasites, from microbes like fungus and bacterium, protozoas, all the way to the bigger boys, the flukes and the worms and stuff. I believe that I've been born with a gift, absolutely. I have a strong connection with the earth. I visited California. Well, I'll say that the spiritual ones are the ones with the weak adrenals, because it makes you more compassionate. It makes you tap into the emotional fabric of creation. The mind is very suit and tie. You see the America as a very mental, a very educated, if you will, a very intellectual society. The problem with it lacks love and compassion. It's out of balance. And that's the element that America is crying for, is love and compassion. We don't have it. We talk about how bad it is to see Omar Gaddafi and his, with his people, and then look at Syria. This guy's a radical dude. He needs to be terminated. He needs to go on and spend some time somewhere else. He's poor, and let his people go. Let my people go. But these sort of things. But this country has lost its love and compassion for each other. Look at the cops. I mean, I had a good one the other day stop me, and I made a wrong turn or something, and he gave me a warning, but I did it right in front of him. But it was typical. Most people do what I did. And it was a good guy, and you could tell he was a good guy by his presence. But for the most part, a lot of these guys are radical, and it's all about prison's going to change you and all this, and actually it makes for badder people. So this is the problem, is we don't have love and compassion. We still throw people in jail for drugs, not understanding why people take them. So we have a long way to go. It's like the comment on Portugal. Much more love in Portugal. Much more. Some countries have a lot more love between the government and the police department and the people, understanding that we're all one. You see it in New York. We arrested all these people. We're going to arrest you. We're going to arrest you. That's that same thing in Vietnam. Same thing in Kent State. Let me tell you, our own military and our own police department would kill us. So we have a long way to go. It's like the comment on Portugal. Much more love in Portugal. Much more. Some countries have a lot more love between the government and the police department and the people, understanding that we're all one. You see it in New York. We arrested all these people. We're going to arrest you. We're going to arrest you. That's that same thing in Vietnam. Same thing in Kent State. Let me tell you, our own military and our own police department would kill us. And so we're very heavily armed people. And so the clash in America is going to be much more intense, I think, than rock throwers in some of these other countries. But still, Lion Man, not to take away from the now and spirituality and all of that, but we need that love here, and we have to look at that in terms of cells and memories and regeneration and everything else. And so the emotional component of life is the adrenals, and a lot of you that are born, spiritual people are born, and also all the creative people, all the musicians we have, all have adrenals. But it brings that love principle in. It brings that softness, that romance, that love side of life in. Without that, the mind is very cut, dried, calculus, that sort of thing. But that's what it's here for. And that's why there's another body there, the emotions, that temper that. A good example, I've always said, an intellectual doesn't like to go to the beach and stay there very long. But you get someone with weak adrenals, they'll sit there and enjoy the ecstasy of the calmness and peacefulness of water, and then the eternity that it looks out over. It's just all about where you're from in terms of intellectually dominant or emotionally dominant. So absolutely you were gifted. I visited California in '09. I was feeling tingling all throughout my body. The bottom of my feet were sore and hot. Well, that's acid. That's acidosis right there. But interesting that's the nerve endings that circulate all through your body. So you could be on fire all through your lymph system. And going with the autism, that's weak adrenals. Could be some CNS as well. But we were looking at this, and you also see the kidney connection here. You see that nervous system there. My left side, the area near my back, just below my ribs, was feeling pressure in it. Wonder what that is. By feeling pressure and tingling in my sides, I can tell an earthquake is likely to happen. About an hour or two later, a magnitude 4.6. Pretty cool, sensitive person, eh? I was also feeling pressure in my left side and a lot of energy all the way from Tennessee before the magnitude. That's pretty good, Japan earthquake. What do you think of this? I think you're one beautiful woman, a very sensitive lady. But get yourself healthy, honey. Get the nervous system strong and stuff, and keep the intuitiveness and the sensitivity with it. And then you can use that as a great gift. And you're a gift to just looking at you. Pretty woman. Magical hummingbird. Thanks for that comment, sweetheart. Today, I appreciate that. There's a reality out there it's hard, and we have never ever in my life been there to sell. And without that, though, for those that are wanting to be practitioners, this is why we offer, a distributor level and a wholesale level. Because if you don't use product, particularly in the herbs, your successes are real low. And two, when you got some good product that you can use to help, some tools, I call them, to help, then it'll help you to survive. Because if I had to survive on my counseling fees, you see how many people don't show, and it's up and down, and I have to give a lot away, and it's just, and a staff, you've got a building, you've got all kinds of expenses. There's no way you'd be in business just counseling people. I couldn't do it, and run a staff and help you and give you free advice over the phone when you call. Impossible. It's just literally impossible. So when you look at the price of things and you realize the cost of things, we used to be our own herb company. We're not anymore because we couldn't handle it. So we have to pay more. So people just don't understand what's involved here when you run something like this. It's just amazing, the cost factors and everything else. So I thought we were doing pretty good, to tell you the truth. We can't do much better than what we're doing now. So, love the comment. Love you, honey. Do our best. You would know if I was a capitalist. Hi, Dr. Morris. Let's see. Oh, you're asking me about Bass here, I think it was. Let's see. I've been reading up on Dr. Stanley Bass. Yeah. Wacko. Sorry, a lot of people, they're entitled to their own opinions. I think you have to take a lot of things in consideration, and I've tried to cover those things. I advocate man as a frugivore, which he is, and I'm not the only one. National Geographic. I mean, you can go on down the line. Most of the higher aware anthropologists and the like agree that man is a frugivore. Now, man has been acting like worse than an omnivore. I mean, worse than an omnivore. But when you really examine omnivores, you don't find a lot of similarities between humans in their body design. And this is also true with all the other creatures. I mean, we fit right into primates, and primates are not omnivores. So, and that, but we have all these different levels of consciousness, and we live in all these different places with all different environments and things like that. I had to do 5 theses for my naturopathic school. 5 theses. So I had a tough school, but I loved my school. I think it's closed down now, but I loved it at the time. And so I had 5 theses to do, and one of them I did was on the geographical location of proteins and minerals and things to show you that as a frugivore species and in the tropics and the acid and the alkaline issues of the environment and in the foods, but then as we went up north we got more minerals, we got more proteins in the foods. Look at the difference between, let's say, a pecan in terms of the protein and fat content and that of a walnut, which is further up north. Big difference. And then you see the climate changes, and you see when they're in season, and you see all the needs that you have. So it is much more difficult when you live in these northern climates to go fruitarian, to go raw, just because of the impact of the high alkaline cold weather and things like that on you. I understand all those things. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm dealing with a frugivore species in a hostile environment where I need to detoxify them, get the tumors out and clean the body up and all that. It doesn't change. And so we have to work through whatever we can. So Bass is entitled to his thinking, but I'll tell you, I think the way I think. I think I've proved in 40 years the clinical, through clinical work on all of you guys, and you read your comments and you're shining through like light bulbs, the difference between detoxing with fruits and vegetables. If you want to detox with vegetables, have at it. I get them all the time from Hippocrates, all the time. And blood looks good, but doesn't do a thing to move tumors out of them, and they're hurting. I've had many, many, many cases from the Hippocrates to show you that. And no offense to them, they're okay for basic stuff. But if you've got serious problems, you're going to want to dig a lot deeper. And I think they're starting to use herbs, and I love that. Get away from supplements. That's old school stuff. Some people keep carrying this baggage of old thinking around. And even as old-fashioned as I am, I think I try to be pretty up to date. This comment is, if you fall and do not heal quickly, is that your parathyroid? Yeah, if you injure yourself and you don't heal well, you've got a couple of things to consider. The first one is you're not moving your lymph well, so there's no way to clean that area. Blood doesn't clean an area. Your lymph is the cleaning system. The lymph is the sewer system. Everything dumps into the sewer system. So the more stagnant your lymph system is, the more difficult it is for your body to clean itself. And then that allows for healing. Blood brings in the healing, but if you're sitting there holding acids in an area, there's only so much blood can do, because acids tend to be stronger than base. So they're so corrosive and aggressive. That's why they're on the lower side of the dominance of chemistry. The dominance of chemistry on this planet is a base chemistry planet. If it was an acid chemistry planet, we would not be here. I think Mars is an acid chemistry planet. You can't live in an acid environment without suiting up and having a lot of protection, because you just can't do it. Look at what's happening just with our pollution now, making acid air. Just take a look around. All you have to do is look at all the mutation in the animal world, in the lakes, and from the fish, just from falling of these acids into the waters. I mean, just look around. We're in serious trouble, but no one cares. This is all about money. And we don't want to hurt. George Bush was bad about it. We don't want to affect the bottom line of these companies. It's about money. No, it isn't. It's about the health and well-being of the creatures that have to live on this planet. It's about the survival of the planet. So if it's kind of like in an airplane. If it's going down, put oxygen on you first and then your kids. In other words, that which is important first needs to survive first, and then everything survive around that. Or if the planet doesn't survive, no one survives. I don't care, and then no one makes money. I mean, it's just ridiculous thinking of people that are constipated. Your mom fell and hit her chin and has been so tender for 3 months. Get her lymph system moving, sweetheart, and get her kidneys and adrenals up. I'll give her more steroids, more anti-inflammatory power. At the same time, you're moving lymph more aggressively. And then, yes, pop up on the parathyroid, particularly if you see bruising easy, more skeletal weakness, connective tissue weakness. Absolutely. Doesn't hurt to pop the parathyroid up temporarily and go after it that way. Use a Bones formula. We have a Bones formula with comfrey and horsetail and the like. Real powerful healing herbs. What are the best fruits to get the lymph system moving for detox? I think the most powerful fruits are going to be your acid category, like your lemons, your limes, your oranges, your grapefruit. I think your subacid category is beautiful. Apples are beautiful. Grapes, certainly. That's why I push grapes. I've always felt grapes and lemons really sit kind of high on the category. For me, oranges are just incredible if they're organic and ripe picked. Grapefruit, certainly powerful detoxifiers. Watermelon is a great detoxifier. When you get into your sweet fruits like your bananas, your dates, and your figs, no, not good detoxifiers. Great food, but just not great detoxifiers. Subacid and acid categories, the best by far. Peaches, pears, things like this. Even your acid categories, real powerful, but you want them raw, you want them ripe. Again, pineapple, pick them right off a plant, or I'd pass them up. You can't take a green pineapple and make it ripe. It's just not going to happen. They'll ferment on you, and it'll still be acidic. Thanks for the question, the kid, the man. Now this is disc herniation. Let me see here. She has two-part question here. Music. I like how you guys use your word. Ooh, I like that. The utmost love and regard to you too, my dear. Let me see here. My friend has been suffering from constant pain in the left side of his body from the neck all the way to the foot. Sometimes keeps getting better or worse, and worse. His MRI shows disc herniation at C4, C5. The interesting thing is that there's a lot of inflammation and pain in his chest, left side, as well as the doctor has been able to identify the cause of the link between the two. Or doctor has not been able. Let me see. The body's nothing but cells and two major fluids. These two major fluids do circulate through the body. What's the link? You know, this is the lymph system, no question about that. What herniates a disc? What breaks down tissue? What's inflames? What expands? That's acidosis. Acidosis dehydrates, breaks down, rubs calcium out, swells, dehydrates. And it would be obvious. This is left side. This is left kidney weakness. His left kidney, adrenals. Can't just work on one kidney, but obviously his left kidney is more in trouble, or she, whichever. And this is important. You have to get the kidneys fixed and drain this lymph down out of this neck and down out of this area, because in time it'll affect the head area and the equilibrium and all that implies, from glaucoma to all these things like that. From glaucoma to all these things like that. I know you've been talking about healing possibilities in fractured bones and arthritis. Absolutely. Can disc herniation? Sure, absolutely. My advice is to move, it's a male, so my advice is for him to move his lymph system. Work on those kidneys, get on those adrenals, and get that lymph draining so you can heal this up. The body can't heal itself without in an acid medium. Remember that. There's only two sides of chemistry. Just as simplistic terms, because there is radical alkalis, no question, it can burn you. But keeping it simple. Generally, base chemistry is healing, acids are corrosive. Okay, so you know it's an acidic medium. Well, what medium in the body would be acidic? Well, there's only two major fluids, and 3/4 of those are the lymph fluids that deal with the acid. So this is about his lymph system, of course, and you've got to get that drained out of his neck and back and stuff like that. I'm sure he's got tight shoulders and everything else, so you want to drain that out of there. Work on the colon. I mean, you always want to do things like that, but kidneys, adrenals, and lymph for sure, and get that moving. If you want to accelerate the healing of the disc, pop up on the parathyroid or suck down a lot of kelp. Or use the Bones formula. Things like this are always helpful on the side, you know, to help the body to do this. But the body has to ultimately do this, and it can't rebuild itself in an acid medium. That's why you'd have to jump on the base side. The second question is, I have vitiligo and hypothyroidism. Notice how that kind of, here's the vitiligo, the pituitary, and here's the thyroid. So again, in your case, is this you? This is again your lymph system up in the head, and you want to take care of that. You want to, and this is where you could use a glandular for the pituitary for sure. That could be because the pituitary produces TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. It'll pick up your thyroid function a little bit. You could have a thyroid that's weak by itself, or you could have the pituitary suppressing the thyroid. With a vitiligo case, you have to suspect the pituitary is the one suppressing the parathyroid or the thyroid. So in either case, it's not going to hurt you to pop those things up a little bit. And of course, you've got to move your lymph. Real important here. So I want to do the fruit-only diet. Good idea. And your form is, I am a full-time student. Well, you know, do the best. Use the teas, you know, go after it in that way. I am concerned about not being able to deal with the detox symptoms. Well, generally, you know what? I think if you guys look at different detox programs, I made this to work real simple. Now, there's the other lady who was commenting earlier. She did get her butt kicked a little bit. Sorry, sweetie. But generally, I'm trying to make it as comfortable on my clients and on you guys as I can. There are just going to be times like this one lady that got all the mucus out and the tumor out her nose and freaked out. Boy, I still can't get over that. I'd be jumping up and down and hooting and hollering and blessing the sky. I mean, holy crap. So there are those cases that the body's just going to expectorate. It's been held back so long like a wild horse, and you suddenly open the gate and wham, just hauls butt. Well, that's like my dog would do. But that's exactly what sometimes happens in a detox. They've used pharmaceuticals or whatever, even diet. You do a lot of dairy products and you're doing a lot of proteins and things. It keeps building and building and locking and locking and building and building. And when you open and turn that key, then it explodes on you.
Your 10 o'clock appointment is calling now. She's on the
10
wrong
o'clock
time.
appointment is calling at 11?
She's on the wrong time.
She's on the wrong
You
time.
want to give her an hour for the appointment?
Yeah, I do. I'll give her
Okay.
the hour for the appointment. So let me close this.
Close that up.
Well, you heard that, so I've got to close this down here. And, yeah, tell her to call back in about 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and help her out here. I hope I answered your question there. And thank you. Much love to you guys as well. And I'll try again to finish these and get down the line here. So thank you all again. Sorry these videos are so chopped up, but I hope you appreciate and like them. I appreciate you guys taking your time and viewing them. Your time means a lot to you, I know, and so I do appreciate that. I appreciate you guys gaining your knowledge and growing with this. You're just fantastic, a bunch of people. I love all you beautiful lights out there, and we're all coming together as one big sun over the planet. So thank you very much, and you all have a good day. I'll talk to you as soon as I can. Goodbye-bye.